The city had never been this quiet before. Even Lagos, the city that never sleeps, seemed to pause that Sunday morning. No loud buses, no market women shouting prices, no church bells yet, just silence. But in a small compound behind an old church building, 3 people stood in front of a heavy stone door, and none of them knew that in a few minutes, history would change forever. It is Good Friday, a modern Nigerian town square near a church. Rain clouds gather above the city. People move closely through the streets. The air feels heavy. Outside All-Worthy Gospel Church, a crowd has gathered. A wooden cross stands at the center of the church compound. Pastor Daniel speaks softly into a microphone. Today, we remember the sacrifice that changed the world. Among the crowd are 3 friends. Miriam, a young nurse in her late 20s. Chinedu, a mechanic who fixes buses nearby. And Tunde, a university student. They stand quietly. Miriam wipes tears from her eyes. "I still don't understand," she whispers. Chinedu sighs. "Imagine watching someone who did only good suffer like that." Pastor Daniel continues. 2,000 years ago, Jesus was beaten, mocked, and crucified, not because he was guilty, but because he loved us. The church choir sings slowly the song titled, "Were You There When They Crucified My Lord?" The sound fills the compound. Miriam whispers again, "Why would someone choose to die for people who rejected him?" Tunde answers quietly, "Maybe because love is stronger than rejection." After the service, people began leaving the church compound. The sky grows darker. Miriam sits on a bench, still thinking. Chinedu joins her. "You look troubled." Miriam nods. "My patients die sometimes in the hospital. I see death a lot, but this story feels different." Chinedu nods slowly. "Because this death wasn't the end." Tunde approaches with 3 bottles of water. "You two look like philosophers today." They laugh softly, but the mood quickly returns to quiet reflection. Tunde says, "Pastor said something interesting." "What?" "He said Sunday is coming." Miriam looks confused. "What does that mean?" Chinedu smiles faintly. "You'll see." Sunday morning, the city is active again. Markets are open. Children run through the streets. But inside Miriam's apartment, everything feels quiet. She sits by the window reading the Bible story about the crucifixion. She whispers the words aloud. Jesus was buried, and the large stone was placed at the entrance of the tomb. She stops breathing. A stone? Her phone buzzes. It's Tunde. "Church rehearsal later today. Are you coming?" Miriam replies, "Maybe." She looks back at the page. One stone sealing a tomb. She closes the book slowly. "Sometimes life feels like that," she says. Saturday evening, at All-Worthy Gospel Church, volunteers decorate the church for Easter Sunday. White cloths hang across the stage. Flowers are placed everywhere. Chinedu is adjusting stage lights. Tunde tests the sound system. Miriam arrives quietly. "You came," Chinedu says with a smile. She shrugs. "I I didn't want to sit at home thinking too much. Pastor Daniel walks into the hall. "Good evening, everyone." They greet him warmly. Pastor Daniel sits with them. "Tomorrow is not just another church day," he says. "It's a reminder that darkness never gets the final word." Miriam asks quietly, "Pastor, did the disciples believe Jesus would rise?" Pastor Daniel smiles. "No, they were scared, confused, broken, just like many of us when life hurts." He pauses. But something happened that morning. Something that shook the world. Early Sunday morning, before sunrise, the city is quiet again. Miriam wakes up earlier than usual. She feels restless. She remembers Pastor Daniel's words. Something happened that morning. She dresses quickly and heads to church. The streets are almost empty. As she walks, the sky slowly turns orange. At the church gate, she sees Chinedu sweeping the compound. "You are early," he says. "I couldn't sleep." Tunde arrives moments later, holding breakfast bread. "Good morning, resurrection people." They laugh. But Miriam suddenly notices something. Wait! She points towards the church stage. The large decorative stone used in the Easter play has been moved aside. The tomb set is open. Chinedu frowns. "That wasn't like that yesterday." Tunde walks closer. The stone rolled away. Miriam stares. Something about the moment feels powerful. Pastor Daniel arrives and sees them staring. "What's happening here?" he asks. Tunde points. The stone moved. Pastor Daniel smiles softly. "Maybe someone wanted to remind us of the message." Miriam asks quietly, "Pastor, why was the stone rolled away?" Pastor Daniel walks closer to the stage. He touches the stone gently. The stone wasn't rolled away so Jesus could come out. They look surprised. "Then why?" "So people could see inside," Pastor Daniel responded. Silence fills the room. Miriam whispers, "So they could see the tomb was empty." Pastor Daniel nods. Yes, death could not hold him. They sit together in the empty church hall. Pastor Daniel continues. Everyone has a stone in their life. A stone of fear. A stone of guilt. A stone of disappointment. Miriam looks down. Chinedu stares at the floor. Tunde folds his arms. But Esther reminds us that God can move any stone. Pastor Daniel continues. Miriam speaks quietly. My stone is fear. Chinedu says, mine is regret. Tunde sighs. Mine is uncertainty about the future. Pastor Daniel smiles warmly. Then today is for you. The church fills with people, children, families, young adults, elderly members. Music begins. The choir sings joyfully. Because he lives, I can face tomorrow. Because he lives. touches the congregation, something inside her feels lighter. Pastor Daniel steps up to preach. 2,000 years ago, women walked to a tomb expecting death, but they found life. The stone was rolled away. He raises his voice, and that same power is still changing lives today. The congregation shouts, Amen. After the service, the church compound is full of celebration. Children run around. People take photos. Miriam stands beside the stage. She looks again at the stone. She touches it. Then she smiles. Chinedu joins her. What are you thinking? Miriam answers softly. Maybe stones don't stay forever. Tunde joins them. And maybe hope always finds a way out. They stand together quietly. Behind them, the choir continues singing. The stone was rolled away, not just from a tomb, but from every heart willing to believe. Sometimes, life feels sealed shut, like a tomb, like hope has been buried, like the stone is too heavy to move. But Easter reminds us of something powerful. The stone rolled away. And when God moves a stone, nothing stays impossible.
All fear is gone.